Yeah. Turn my headphones up.
Turn my headphones up. Oh man,
Where's my bloodbath, bro?
That shit would just get everywhere. And
Right though, and like you got like light colored carpet.
And then like there's books in here and like statues and like all my cool shit's in here.
Prestidigitation, you're fine.
I don't know that spell, Oz.
Get on point, sir. Like,
well, why don't you do it for me then?
No,
you can't just learn cantrips out of a book.
Damn. I don't know what percentage of comic book readers and or comic book superhero movie watchers are nerds to the extent that they play D&D and or Baldur's Gate.
It's got to be a considerable amount.
It's got to be.
I would like to think so. Yeah.
Especially with Baldur's Gate having been like the best-selling game on Steam for like 3-4 weeks solid. Like,
and I think
crazy.
They're still second place to Hogwarts Legacy, if I'm not mistaken, as far as overall.
So.
That's
this
for
year.
That is for the simultaneous player count.
That's right.
Oh, okay.
So far, however. The game is going to release on PlayStation in like 5 or 6 days,
and that's just going to be nuts.
Yeah, it's going to go through the roof because now the hype for Baldur's Gate is even higher because of all the all the PC players.
We've also found out just this last weekend at Gamescom that it's going to come out on Xbox this year as well.
Oh, okay.
Because originally they had no official release date; it was like beginning of next year, but they got the okay from Microsoft to just like disable split screen on the S. Mm-hmm. So
I mean, which I'm surprised that this was even a question to begin with,
Right.
Like, just go ahead and do it and release it on Xbox,
Well, like, I think it was, I really think it was a matter of, okay, fuck them, like, they got to get it working just like everybody else, right? Yeah. And then it was like, oh, this is the biggest game on the planet, and you don't have it on your shit. Oh, well, now we can let them do it.
How is this the standard?
Right.
Oh my God. Not to make this a Baldur's Gate podcast, man.
Because that is coming.
That is coming, by the way.
That is coming, yeah. Heck yeah.
Yeah. But man, it's been weird, right? Because there's always counterculture, you know what I mean? Whenever something is too big or too popular, there's always a subset group of people who want to pretend that it's not something great or pretend that maybe it's overhyped or overinflated. Have you guys been seeing any of like the criticisms of the game?
No. I've been seeing the developer bullshit where
that's about it.
The other game devs are like, this shouldn't be the standard. And then I have seen some gamers that are just Stockholm Syndrome defending that shit. They're like, these are people in the industry. They know what they're talking about. I'm like, they're paid to think this.
Yeah.
And you're a fucking shill for echoing them.
And to be perfectly honest, like, Larian showed them the fuck up, and so like they're like this no leg to stand on. It's
weird, right, to think that in 2023, getting a full complete game that is in depth, immersive, has a great story, great voice acting, really intuitive combat system and mechanics, and no microtransactions. That would cause people to be in an uproar. Like, that is insane to me.
Well, they've been fed shit for so long.
Yeah.
That, and like, then, you give them a fucking sandwich and they're like, there's no shit in here.
You're right.
But see, they didn't just give him a sandwich. They gave him a fucking 5-course meal.
Yeah. Yeah. They've been, comparing it to, like, Elden Ring in terms of, like, it being, like, this wonderful game that's complete and all that. And I mean, no disrespect to the Elden Ring fan base. I know that you guys really, really love that fucking game. But I think maybe a more apt comparison would be maybe like Santa Monica with like God of War. Like, there are no microtransactions with that. Like, you can get like a pre-order bonus, but
I think that the digital deluxe edition still counts, but that Baldur's Gate has that also.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, obviously, like if you were part of the early access, you got all that shit for free. Thank you, Larian.
Yes.
But yeah, I think that the comparison to God of War 2018 is tremendous. But even then, God of War 2018 is still has a linear nature to it that this game does not have.
Yeah.
It's an amazing game, but like I don't think there's any game in the last. I honestly think the last game that came out that could be compared to Baldur's Gate 3 was probably in 2004 with Half-Life 2.
Wow.
Yeah, and that game was a huge deal. It was kind of like a cyberpunk level of hype for that game. And that is the game that we can thank for physics in video games. That was the first major release to have physics in the game where you could interact with an object. Like you could, pick up a box and move it somewhere else. Like, because before that, if you saw a box, well, it looked like a box, but it was just there. It was just there. You couldn't move it. You might could climb on it, but you couldn't fucking pick it up. Or,
right.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think for me, it may be. I mean, like the easy answer is always Skyrim. The last game
I was actually thinking the same thing.
But I think maybe a more apt comparison for me personally would probably be Mass Effect 2.
Yeah, same.
When I first played that game, my goodness, I was gone for 2 years, right? When I came back, the world had moved on without me. How dare it?
How dare?
Like I got an Xbox 360 on the cheap. And I got a bunch of games for like dollars because they were all old at that point.
Right.
And they were all great games. I got like Oblivion, Arkham Asylum, and then I got these games from this company called BioWare. I haven't played their games in ages. So I was like, well, let me see what they're up to. One was Dragon Age Origins and the other one was Mass Effect 1. And needless to say, I sunk countless hours into those games. And then, as the universe would have it, as soon as I finished Mass Effect 1, it was the same week that Mass Effect 2 came out. And
that happened with me with 3.
Oh, that's right, huh? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it was very serendipitous.
You lucky fucks. I had to wait 3 times because I came off of the KOTOR train.
Yeah.
And then they were like, Mass Effect, we're going to make this game called Mass Effect. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah. I just want to point out that it is not a good sign, though, when your favorite fantasy RPG company makes a space game. That's the death knell. So, sorry, Bethesda. But, because BioWare made the Mass Effect trilogy, and then they fucking are whatever you want to call it now.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But with that being said, we are here to talk about something else.
Way off topic.
It's better that we start off topic and then get on, and then to start on.
Vampires in Baldur's Gate.
There are.
Yeah.
I killed Astarion. Yeah, that was fun.
I killed him in our game.
Yeah, you did. That shit was funny.
Yeah.
Y'all voted for it.
We did.
But before we get too far, we do have the game to play.
Not the one we just lost.
Not that one. A game that you stand a chance of winning. Yeah.
Okay.
So you guys know the rules, but because there are 2 of you, you still get you're gonna get a total of 12 questions instead of 15. And so each of you gets 6 questions to ask. And of course, the objective here is to figure out what comic book character I am thinking of. And you guys will also still get 3 guesses between the 2 of you. And so I'll let you guys determine how you want to divvy up those guesses.
Okay.
So we get 3 to split.
Yep.
And how many questions?
You get 12. If you would like to, you can burn one of your guesses for another question.
We'll see how it goes.
Yep. All right. Caleb, would you like to start?
Yes, I will start this off. Is this character a female?
No.
Is this character from the DC universe?
No.
Obligatory to keep you from doing any bullshit. Is this character from the Marvel universe?
Yes.
Okay. Does this person have superpowers?
Yes.
Has this character been featured in a live action movie?
Yes.
Is this person in the X-Men?
No.
Okay.
I don't like the way you answered that.
I don't either. I don't either.
Would the general populace describe this character as a hero?
No.
Notice I veered away from asking whether you would describe it.
Okay. Okay. I hate you so much. My brain
It has
was
to be in the form of a question.
That's right.
Do I hate you? No. Okay. Okay. Damn. I'm drawing a blank here. Okay. So we know it's Marvel.
It's a male,
Male.
not a hero.
Not a hero.
Has superpowers.
And has superpowers.
We've narrowed it down. So, and they've been in a live action movie.
Yeah, they have.
So, I mean, we actually did narrow it down quite a bit.
Yeah, we did. Okay.
And we're only halfway through. This is your third question, I believe.
This is his fourth.
This is his fourth question.
Yeah.
Sure. I went first.
You've just asked your fourth.
So I'm on my fifth question.
No, you're on your fourth. He started.
Yeah, okay. And they're not in the X-Men, so that... damn. So, kind of a villain, maybe. Shit. God, I'm really drawing a blank. I'm gonna pass my question. I'm not thinking of any kind of questions I can ask.
Are you gonna pass? Okay.
So does that give me the ability to ask his question?
No. So you still only have your two questions left.
But he still has three.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. So is this character in multiple live action movies?
Yes.
Okay. See, that we have narrowed it down significantly now. A non-hero that's in multiple live action movies, there's not a ton of those. I mean, there's still more than we have guesses, but like...
Is this character an alien?
No.
Okay.
He still has two left. I have one left.
Yep.
Go ahead and fire off another one there. Sport.
Okay.
Good one though. So we know that they're not an alien,
Non-alien.
and they're probably
villain-ish.
they're not a hero.
Yeah, non-hero.
So, and they've been in multiple live action movies. So like that, I mean, it's Marvel, so that narrows it down quite a bit. We got like Loki, Thanos. I specifically said, have they been in multiple live action movies? So if they've been in a TV show, that wouldn't count. They have to be in multiple movies.
Yeah.
So Yeah, I mean, it could be like Baron von Strucker or like Zemo or no. Zemo has only been
Zemo's in one movie.
Zemo's only in one movie, so it can't be him either. So yeah, I mean, we have narrowed it down significantly here.
Yeah, and I'm still like not getting any kind of pings in my brain at all. Okay.
You could always narrow it down by time frame.
Interesting. Okay. Is this character in movies that are a part of the MCU?
No.
I hate you.
See now we've really
Yeah.
I will say this and give you guys a massive hint, and that's because when this is all said and done, I don't want to be accused of cheating. But this is for clarification's sake. And this clarification will give you guys a massive hint. So earlier, I believe it was Oz, you asked if they were in the X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
For clarification's sake, they are not in the X-Men team. Okay, continue on.
So we each have a question apiece, correct?
Yeah, one question each. Okay. Multiple movies. Multiple X-Men movies. I mean, obviously, like Magneto is easy. That's not an official guess. We're just talking it out here. Obviously Magneto is like the easy go-to, right? But it could definitely be well, actually, so it can't be Nightcrawler because he said that they're not on the X-Men team, and then Dark Phoenix Nightcrawler is on the team. So but it also could be fucking Juggernaut. Because Juggernaut is in multiple live action movies.
Yep, and they're not a part of the MCU.
Correct.
And
he would do some bullshit like this. So, okay.
I do have a question, but you go ahead.
Okay. Does this character assist the X-Men in any of the live action movies?
No.
Okay. So I have eliminated Magneto.
Yes, you have, and that ruins my question. So,
and also, I mean, well, we established Nightcrawler was gone. So,
trying to process the memory bank that is currently rebooting. Okay, let's see. So he's in the Marvel Universe, primarily in the X-Men-ish realm. And he's never helped the X-Men whatsoever.
No. So you thinking hard over there, Oz?
I am. I'm really trying to think.
But you have not asked your last question.
I have not. I'm trying to think of a question that could help solidify it, but I don't.
Now remember, you guys can burn guesses at any time.
Oh, I know. I'm not going to burn mine without his question.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I have a couple people I think it could be. We've established that they have superpowers. You know, and it's not Mystique, right? And
I mean, because it's a she,
right? So the only people who come to mind, it can't be Magneto because he's basically a part of the team in Days of Future Past.
He is.
Toad technically I don't think ever helps them.
And is he in multiple movies?
Toad, yeah.
He is?
Mm-hmm. He's in Days of Future Past. And I think also First Class. I can't recall, but he is definitely in 2. He's in 2 movies, basically. He's in the first one and he's definitely in Days.
Do you know what happens to a toad? When
Yeah.
That was a question on Homies Trivia.
It was.
Yeah, I know. I think I got that.
You got that one. Yeah.
Oh, God damn it. I hate you.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm trying to think of who else it could possibly, because like, it's gonna be some bullshit, right? Clearly, it can't be what's his name because he don't have superpowers. The guy that, the Colonel or whatever.
Yeah, that was where my mind. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Stryker. Yeah, I was thinking that too, but he doesn't have superpowers at all.
Right.
Ask it.
All right. Is he an anti-hero?
I will say at times for comic readers, yeah, but
Okay.
for the most part,
So my brain was going, technically, the X-Men helped Deadpool, but Deadpool did not help them. But then he joined X-Force, but yeah, so that's where my brain was going. So we've asked all our questions.
yep.
Now we have 3 guesses amongst... Oh, God damn it. All right, let's see. Because you would have done some fuck shit like that.
Right.
Let's hear those guesses.
We're getting there. Obviously, if you have a guess, by all
I'll
means.
use my first guess.
Sure.
Sabretooth.
It's a good guess, but no, that is not correct.
Damn. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I had to keep one of them close to the chest. Meets all the criteria.
Yeah, like I'm now I'm playing through the Rolodex of potential enemies from the movies, and all of them have at least helped in some way.
Well,
I'm gonna guess Juggernaut.
That's correct.
I was going to say, right after it came out of my mouth, I was like, we never actually guessed Juggernaut.
No, we didn't. Okay.
Very good.
Good
yeah,
shit.
Yeah.
Yep. The Juggernaut is correct.
All right. See how you do.
Hey, I gotta try to up the difficulty on these every once in a while. See how you guys do. Keep you on your toes.
All right.
That was a good one.
Yeah. Good old Juggy. If you guys, because you also could have burned your third guess for a clue, and I would have said he has a brother on the X-Men team. And
I don't think I would have got that at all.
Yeah, like if you hadn't guessed Juggernaut, I was going to use it to guess Juggernaut.
okay.
But I was also thinking the Blob, though, because the Blob meets all this criteria as well.
Yeah, he's in.
But he's in the movies?
X-Men Origins.
He's in Origins, and he's in one of the Deadpool movies, right?
I don't. No,
I
not
don't
in
think
any
so.
of the Deadpool movies. Not unless it was like a cameo.
Well, you're probably thinking about Origins because Deadpool is also in that.
Yeah, I know he's in Origins, but
Is that really Deadpool?
I mean, Proto-Pool, whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
Not Weapon X.
Whatever that atrocity was.
Right.
But yeah.
the Blob is in Apocalypse.
Oh, wow. I don't even remember seeing him in Apocalypse.
Yeah, and he's in X-Men Origins.
But I only saw Apocalypse once. So,
Yeah, he's in both.
Yeah. Well, we're here to celebrate a birthday. And that birthday belongs to a movie that came out in 1998, turns 25. You guys can probably guess what it is by the title of the episode.
I would hope so.
Blade 1 is now 25 years old.
My
Yeah.
back hurts just thinking about it.
Bro, we getting old.
Yeah, I popped some ibuprofen in my head.
Yeah, this was big, man, back when we were kids. Just because superhero movies had kind of waned at this point, and especially R-rated superhero movies. Was this the first one?
I'm pretty sure it was, but
Yeah.
the other thing about this though is like for the general public, no one really knew that. Like, I mean, unless you were a comics reader,
Right.
Most people had no idea that Blade had any Marvel affiliation because back then,
Myself,
I mean, same. Me too.
honestly, like up until honestly, I think maybe about 10 to 15 years ago, you told me this, and I was like, "He's Marvel." I think what it was is I was playing Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Oh,
and
yeah,
Blade
yeah.
showed up in it, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Wait a minute, Blade is Marvel?" He's like, "Yeah, dude, he's a comic hero." I was like, "I thought it was just a cool vampire movie."
Right. Well, this was back then where it's like, the Marvel name was not this thing to fucking stamp all over everything. Where it's like now it could be a fucking Howard the Duck remake, and they'd be like Marvel in 58 font, Howard the Duck in 12 font,
And he'd get the comic strip opening. And,
and all the comic strips are him.
Yeah.
You know
I
what?
kind of want that now, actually.
You had to bring that shit up, didn't you?
I mean, when he showed up in Guardians like that shit made me so happy seeing your reaction because we all kept it from you the whole time.
Oh, I know.
I wish I could have seen your face.
I should have recorded it.
Yes.
For you.
See, the messed up part though is I would probably still give a new like MCU version of Howard the Duck a chance.
Hell yeah.
It had to be a million times better than anything.
Oh, yeah.
I would watch a James Gunn directed Howard the Duck movie in a heartbeat.
That'd be phenomenal.
We're not going to get it now, but
No, we're not going to now. But
I don't know who... Does he have any speaking lines in Guardians 3? Because I know in
I
Guardians
think
1...
it's
it
very
was,
brief.
he does talk,
okay.
but
He's
it's very
playing
brief.
cards, right?
They're playing cards.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It was Seth Green who voiced him in Guardians 1. And, I think that I thought he was a great, Howard the Duck for the 1 or 2 lines we had him for.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so looking back at like Blade 1, like the first R-rated superhero movie, I mean, it's got to be. If not the first one, then it's definitely one of the first. And, this movie really did a lot of good things for, not just for Marvel, but for superhero movies in general. So, because if you look at the time frame of it, 1998 is when this movie came out. In 97, we got Batman and Robin.
I mean, you know that the people, when Batman and Robin came out, they already had to be like into post-production on this movie. So, they was watching that shit just like, oh my God. But I mean, that probably has a lot to do with why it wasn't marketed as a superhero movie at all.
Actually, The Crow was. It was in 94.
Crow. Oh, and that was rated R. Yeah. So
is that a superhero movie though?
it is a comic book movie,
Okay,
and
fair enough.
he's got superpowers. Yeah, man. Hey, I forgot about The Crow.
You said that the last time I brought up The Crow. We need to watch that movie and review it.
We do. I told you I got the comic book, and it is fascinating. It is dark.
Oh yeah, it's super dark.
Yeah. But the interesting thing about Blade though is that when this movie came out, like you guys said, most people didn't know about the fact that this was a Marvel character because, like you said, Caleb, like it wasn't plastered all over the place. You get one brief title card during the opening moments of the movie that says Marvel, and then you'll see Stan Lee's name, and you'll see Marv Wolfman's name. If you're a comic book reader, you're familiar with him. Practically helped create half the Teen Titans. But besides that, you don't really get a lot of cues that this movie is in any way, shape, or form associated with a Marvel Comics character property. You get no clues to that whatsoever.
And to be perfectly honest, it doesn't even feel like part of any Marvel universe. Like, because it's all like this underground vampire stuff, and it's like, where's Iron Man? Like,
it's very Underworld-esque.
Yeah.
The color palette, even though Underworld obviously wasn't out yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do wonder though, even about like Underworld. I wonder if we even get those movies the way that they are, if not for Blade.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
Because so much of the choreograph, like the choreography, the aesthetic and all that is pulled straight from this movie. Combination of like this movie and The Matrix, which also came out around the same time.
right.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
There's some really interesting things that I learned here because, again, Blade, he doesn't have as much comic book material as, say, like you said, an Iron Man or X-Men or Spider-Man. He doesn't have that kind of storied, comic book career. He does have a good bit, though. But it's interesting because when he was created, I think back in like 1973, he made his introduction in, I think it was Tales of Dracula, something along those lines. And back in those days, Marvel and DC, they like to dabble in horror comics. And, they would do, that's where we got like Man-Thing, that's where we got Werewolf by Night, characters like that who were more horror-esque. And one of those was a character by the name of Eric Brooks, a.k.a. Blade. Now, I mentioned when we were reviewing the movie on the couch earlier, I mentioned how David Goyer really did a lot for the character of Blade, and I think he's kind of an unsung hero. And that's not to take away anything from the creators like Marv Wolfman or Gene Colan, but when Goyer was writing this movie back in like early '97, maybe even earlier than that actually, Marvel liked what he did so much that they adapted a lot of what he did, not just for the movie. New Line Cinema used for the movie, but Marvel or Fox used a lot of what he wrote when they put Blade in the Spider-Man animated TV show. And that I did not know. So up until his appearance in the Spider-Man TV show, Blade was not half man, half vampire. And that shit blew my mind.
What?
Yeah.
So was he just a human?
Well, he had immunity because his conception was still the same. His mother still got bit by Deacon
They just
Frost.
couldn't turn him.
Yeah.
Okay.
But in terms of like him actually being half vampire, no. So like the healing factor, like the super strength, things of that nature, not so much. And when they put him in the animated series, that's when all that came from. And so a large part of that is due to David Goyer.
Yeah, because that sounds really boring. But like, yeah, damn, I learned something.
This is that you die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain story.
Yeah, you're right though.
Years later, David S. Goyer would read The Dark Knight Returns, and he would hate what Frank Miller wrote there so much that he would go and write Batman versus Superman.
Okay.
Damn.
I mean, the man also helped write the Dark Knight trilogy just a few years earlier than from that,
But Jonathan Nolan is more heavily credited on that, as well as Christopher Nolan. He was in the room.
Oh, no. Wow.
I did not mean to Kathleen Kennedy him. It's not that serious.
The disrespect. Goddamn.
The disrespect.
And I also mentioned how Abraham Whistler.
Yeah, you were telling me that. Like, yeah, he was like, I've always liked Whistler's character. Mm-hmm. I definitely agree with you that they should not have tried to, like, he should have died there and been done, and not bring him back for Blade 2, which I hated.
What was the reasoning? Do you remember how they brought him back? It was weird.
I want to say, didn't he come back as a vampire?
Was that what they did?
And then they cured him of it?
It was something like that.
Yeah.
Something very dismissive that was just like, hey, he's back. Let's just move on.
They brought him back as a vampire, and then they cured him.
Yeah, like I'm sorry. No. That I just don't fucking buy. I get that the chick made a cure for people who have been bitten and not turned yet.
But he was dead.
He was dead.
They should have just not killed him in this movie, I think.
And then
because I feel like introducing him in the same movie in which you kill him is a huge like kick to the dick. Like it doesn't have the emotional impact that you want it to have. I think killing him in the second movie probably would have had the most impact, because in the third movie, if he made it to the third movie, you expect him to kill him then.
Yeah.
Because the fucking sidekick always gets killed in the third movie.
Right.
Like, you know, in the trilogy. It's like, oh, the sidekick made it to the third movie? Well, he did.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, they should have waited to the second one, but I guess I got to say, in their defense, they probably didn't expect to get a second one.
That's a fair point. That's a very fair point.
And
they spawned a whole, uprising of goth kids too. So.
It's true. But the second one was a completely different team, though.
Yeah, it was.
That's Guillermo del Toro,
Right.
So,
and you can tell now, right? Like after having seen a lot more Del Toro movies, you can definitely look at Blade 2 and say, "Oh yeah, that's definitely."
yeah. And we were talking about this off mic that he wanted to do a miniseries to not have Blade in it necessarily, maybe a cameo or something that was based in that world. And they turned him down. Was this Lionsgate or?
I think New Line Cinema.
New Line, yeah. And they turned him down. So then years later, he actually ended up making the show The Strain, which it does not take place in the Blade universe, but literally it is Blade 2 for 40 hours or whatever with. And there's even a guy named Abraham who's an old guy, and he fucking hunts vampires and has a silver sword. And
I want to say I think I watched the first 2 episodes.
It's
of
a good
The Strain.
show.
Yeah, I like what I saw from it. I just never went back to it.
He's not amazing. Don't get me wrong. It's not the best show ever, but it's worth watching it. I mean, it's good.
No, okay.
Yeah, Abraham Whistler. Interestingly enough, the inspiration for him is pretty obvious once you realize where they got it from. Abraham Van Helsing. Yeah.
Damn it, man.
Yeah. So
wait a minute. First off, Van Helsing's name is Abraham?
yeah. If you're like me, you're probably just familiar with the Hugh Jackman.
Well, no. I've always just never heard him called Van Helsing. Never.
Right, never by his full.
Yeah, or the original vampire hunter, Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
God damn.
I have broken them, ladies and gentlemen.
I hate you.
What? He did hunt vampires. It's a thing.
He did. They made a whole documentary about it.
Oh, is that what that was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that this movie still has a really cool opening sequence.
It does.
I like seeing this random schmo who as Caleb so adeptly pointed out was Lem from The Shield.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Detective Curtis Lemansky.
Yeah.
In The Shield. But his actual name though, isn't it something really bland like Steve Johnson or something like that? Oh, I gotta look now.
Yeah. Because I knew
Kenny Johnson.
Kenny Johnson. Okay, Kenny Johnson.
I'm looking that up to be sure I didn't make that up.
I knew that guy looked familiar, but I could not place.
Hey, you gotta get started somewhere.
Yeah.
Be random schmo who gets a bloodbath.
Yeah. And it just goes to show, man, guys do a lot of things for pussy. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, Kenneth Johnson.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, and I just love the opening moments of this scene. He follows this. Look, first of all, if I'm following some ass and she's taking me somewhere in the middle of the night that I've never been before, and then I see her speaking Slavic to someone else.
No. Well, how do you know it's Slavic? If you don't know,
you're right. You're right. But
then you might come across as
I want to think that
uncultured.
Okay. You know what? All due respect. I'm. We're fortunate enough to have homies who listen. Around the world. If you are from anywhere in Eastern Europe, no disrespect, but if I hear you speaking that shit around me,
I guess it's situational. If they're just having a conversation, maybe not.
Yeah.
But taking you in the back of a meat locker and a strange dude wearing a earpiece is at the door of a meat locker, and then they start. They start speaking Slavic. I'm bouncing.
Yeah, it might be time to leave.
My first red flag is you're walking me through a meat locker.
Right. I get it, right? The 90s were the era of edginess and
dark tragic backstories.
Right. but you gotta draw the line somewhere. I draw mine at the meat locker.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. This was like the earliest I can remember having this kind of edgy kind of, okay, there's going to be, we didn't call it dubstep yet. It was just techno back then.
Yeah.
techno.
I realize they're not the same thing, but, at the time, it was just like...
Yeah, at the time, that's what we called it, was techno.
Everybody
Like,
just...
that's what that was. It was techno.
Right, it was
If there was music with a beat and no words, it was techno. Mm-hmm. We didn't know any better.
Yeah,
We didn't.
like once those same people discovered like deep bass lines, then it became dubstep.
Right, yeah.
And then, of course, if it went a little more mellow, then it was trance, or like you go through those, those all different types. But
Yeah.
And then like people started mumbling over that music and they call it trap.
They call it trap.
Jesus Christ.
God damn.
But also, like, back in those days, like, you get those movies that are, that dark and edgy, but that also kind of spawned the early 2000 horror flick that always had the alt metal, aka what I call vampire rock, which is basically, like anything from the Deftones, Perfect Circle, Marilyn Manson.
It did lead us to the best movie soundtrack of all time.
It did.
Wait,
Queen of the
Queen
Damned.
of the Damned.
Queen of the Damned, bro.
Oh.
Like, Jonathan Davis did an amazing, I was that goth kid, okay?
That movie soundtrack not only defined a lot of sexualities for a lot of people, but that movie soundtrack was fucking crisp.
That's
Oh,
one
it
with
was-
the Aaliyah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think I watched it for her, and I don't remember anything else about it.
Bruh.
I mean, it wasn't a great movie, but like the soundtrack.
Don't be
was
hating.
dope.
Don't be hating.
I didn't say it was bad. I'm just saying it was just meh. I fucking came for the soundtrack. Oh, I gotta watch the movie too. All right, well.
Well, like, I was that goth kid, though. So, like, I got,
yeah.
like, that's where a lot of my music taste. I still listen to that album to this day. I was listening to it earlier today.
One
The
day,
CEO of Hot Topic was like masturbating in the theater when that movie came out.
one day we'll have to have a discussion about like what are some of the best movie soundtracks out there.
I know it ain't gonna be on the fucking list.
What?
Wonder Woman.
I still wish I had that button.
Bullshit ass.
I mean, yeah. I love that theme as much as it blares.
The crazy part, I hate the movie, but, like, a movie I felt had a very decent soundtrack, the original Daredevil movie. I just remember thinking, dude, that soundtrack, though. But
I had Brendan on and we reviewed that because it turned 20 this year.
oh, shit.
Yeah.
It was a good soundtrack.
Didn't we go see that together? That was the first
We did.
superhero movie we went to see together.
Yeah, holy shit. 20 years ago.
Bro.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. Damn. But it was so me and Brendan, we watched that movie and then we reviewed it, and I had to say, man, like the soundtrack, it's like, okay, it's a difference between having like a good songs and having a good soundtrack. You know what I mean? So like the Daredevil soundtrack, it was just so on the nose and so in your face. It's hard at times for me to say
It was
that,
almost like they wrote the movie for the soundtrack.
right.
Yeah.
You know?
You know what? I'm not mad at that. Actually, I'm not.
Well, and there's also there's a couple of like schools of thought there, because there's also like, is it an original soundtrack like a Game of Thrones thing where like
Right.
they made the show and then
They made
everything
the
is
score.
composed, the score is composed for the show. So,
Right. I mean, honestly, like we talked about a minute ago, of the Queen of the Damned, they actually hired the lead singer of Korn, Jonathan Davis, to be the composer for all of the music for that movie.
Damn.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like I said, I was that goth kid.
rolled that 20.
Yeah, we're talking about the opening the Blade. Shit. But,
Oh shit! Yeah, my bad.
It's just really cool how the movie could have opened up with Blade, but instead it opens up with this normal guy.
Right.
And then you see that he is in way over his head, and he wanted to be way over his head, drowning in pussy. Instead, he's over his head about a damn get eviscerated.
Yeah, like
I mean,
by a million fucking vampires.
Yeah.
Some pussy was gonna get got in his vicinity,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he wasn't gonna be getting any of it.
No,
He was gonna be all over the walls and shit.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's like this movie, you know, being late 90s, like it's like you always had to have the audience surrogate on screen at every given moment. So it's like we get this scene where this dude is the audience surrogate.
Yep.
And then when this scene is over, we immediately switch to the nurse. What's her Dr.
Karen Johnson.
Yeah, to Karen.
Jensen, okay.
Jensen.
And Karen now becomes the new audience surrogate.
Yep.
And so it's like it's a trope, but it honestly really worked in this movie to build up the mystique of Blade.
Yeah.
Because you're never really just hanging out with Blade. You always are kind of seeing Blade either from her point of view, which is like, who is this mysterious, you know, kind of like the mysterious cowboy kind of trope.
Right.
Or you're seeing him from the vampire's point of view, where it's like it's a reverse horror movie.
Yeah.
You're the vampire and Blade is coming for your ass.
Right.
Bruh, I just realized only 3 people got bit in that entire fucking movie. In a fucking vampire movie. Karen, her the dude that needed her assistant that got actually killed, turned into a zombie, and the cop.
Yeah, the cop. Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah. I'm not mad at that, though.
It's a vampire movie.
Yeah. And you know what that means, Oz? It means Blade does his fucking job.
Oh, okay. But like, you know, straight up anime style and Mortal Kombat fused in.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and that was something else that we noticed while watching
yeah.
this movie. This movie does have some Mortal Kombat influences.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you can tell from some of the music that they play to some of the action scenes. It's like, at the very least, they had to have had some of the same fight choreographers on this movie.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah.
And, of course, we did notice that at one point, you're walking through, like, the camera's panning through an office building or apartment building, and one of the vampire kids are watching Mortal Kombat on the TV screen.
Yep. And it was the first one.
Yeah, because
Yep.
it was the screenshot we got was a reptile before he got put into the body.
Yep.
So
at least it was the good one.
yeah,
Mortal Kombat, the good one.
the good one.
You know, it's interesting. Like True Blood got it all wrong because, like, when you first become a vampire, clearly the first thing they do is teach you karate.
Oh, yeah.
Teach you karate. Yeah,
Karate.
We've now turned you into this, you know, ancient, like, you know, fucking semi-demonic possible creature, and now it's time for you to.
Well, see that tracks
karate.
though, because you know in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the same fucking thing. As soon as they wake up out of the grave, they know martial arts, and it's fucking amazing. Like it's just something ingrained in a vampire's DNA. You know martial arts. You know what? In D&D, I have to be a vampire monk now, just cause.
Yeah.
Say what you want about Joss Whedon, but the motherfucker knows his history.
God damn. Oh shit. Yeah. And man, not to segue us off here, but
Too late.
man, yeah, it's too late. But you know, I won't mince any words about it. Like, is this movie? Is it antiquated? Is a lot of it tropey? And there's a lot of it, you know, burned and overused in 2023. Yeah, but man, I still think this movie is really solid.
Yeah.
And I mean, I still had
Honestly, they probably started a lot of those tropes.
They did, I think it did. To be
Yeah,
honest
like,
with you.
yeah.
Including, like, the third act being completely off the fucking rails and an over-reliance on CG.
And you know, the thing of it is, though, in this movie's defense, this third act is calm in comparison to a lot of third acts I've seen in the past 10 years.
Shang-Chi.
Oh Jesus! Do we really?
Are those fucking CG lions? Okay, yeah, they are.
Motherfucker, why are we fighting a kaiju? Like,
Is that a dragon?
It's a goddamn dragon.
It's a goddamn dragon.
Yeah. And you know what? Like, the third act for this movie, while it is very off the walls, they spend the entire second act telling us what is going to happen in that third act. And so at least we get a warning, you know, to a degree as to the... I mean, we don't know how fucking ridiculous it's going to look until we saw it. But, yeah.
Oh yeah, you're talking about the blood jello that brings him back together. Yeah.
Yeah, this the blood jello, which is still a great scene. Deacon Frost gets sliced in half. Torso goes flying. Hey, you know what? I'm not mad at Blade for doing the cool guy thing, turning around, walking away. My job is fucking done.
He wasn't even walked away by that point, but he turned his back.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't care how badass you think you are.
He cut him in half, Oz.
Motherfucker, you fighting somebody who is obviously a huge threat and has been for a long time. You have been tracking him down for a long time. My thing is, if you are serious about your job, make sure he is fucking dead before you turn your back on him.
Listen, we tried to explain this to him while we were watching the movie.
No.
But he wouldn't. He
Yep.
His comprehension is way off. So there's only one rule to be in Blade, and that rule is to look cool as you kill motherfuckers.
Yeah. It's not
At
to
one
save people.
fucking point,
Yeah.
he slices a dude's head off that flings his sunglasses into the air, and he caught it just to put them on to beat somebody's ass.
Right.
I'm sorry. What the fuck?
And at the time, first off,
I've heard you rip into movies for less.
He did not want to get blood, nor silver, nor garlic in his eyes.
Right.
For one. Also, they foreshadowed this earlier in the movie. They set this up by having him look into the microscope, and then he had to step away because the shit exploded. So he was like, "Oh, I remember that happening. So I'm going to take these sunglasses because I clearly brought this serum here, which I know makes these motherfuckers explode. So I don't want to get nothing in my eyes."
You know,
You were giving this movie way too much credit.
Did they or did they not set it up? Ace?
Hey, they perfectly set this up.
When did you guys become me?
They set it up. It's in the movie. This isn't me on a fucking Zack Snyder defense trip where I'm like going through. You got to watch a 45-minute YouTube video for some shit that's not in the movie.
You know, all I'm saying is this, Oz. Like, we established early on in the viewing that
No. You just happened to say that's rule number one. That is not establishing shit. That is just you saying rule of cool. I'm sorry. The whole movie cannot be rule of cool.
if the character
No.
if his identity is rule of cool and then parentheses while killing vampires, then that is the rule.
Sure. Okay. You know what? I'll give you that. But here's the thing. That shit's going to get old after a while.
It took 25 years.
Oh,
I
Jesus
think
Christ.
it had legs.
All I'm saying is there was just way too much inflection on everything that he did to be cool. And
Oh, okay. So
It made it not cool
So
to me.
so you mean to tell me that 10-year-old little Oz didn't think Blade was cool, huh? That's what you're telling me.
that is not what I said.
Oh, okay. So you did think it was cool. So that, I mean, it's just interesting how, you know, you betray your inner child just for some.
This is your fault.
I don't know what you mean.
This is a 1,000,000% your fault. I used to enjoy movies. You made me watch Howard the Duck and Captain America and ruined me. So now this is what you get. You get this now from me because of you. You are reaping what you sow. Just letting you know that.
There's no way I could love this anymore if I wanted to.
Okay.
Nope. There's no level of apology that you can give me.
There has to come a time where you forgive me.
No.
I love this because he is forever a critic now. And he can't unsee it.
I can't. The entire time, I'm over here dogging this fucking movie for being so cheesy. And they're over here like, rule of cool, bro. No!
You know what's funny is Marvel almost made what I'm sure would have been a shittier film. Because remember, they like Mahershala Ali was like, "Nah, fuck this."
Oh yeah.
Because the script was like 70 pages or something.
Yeah, and there was one fight scene in it.
And there was only one fight scene in the whole movie.
Yeah.
And they were like,
Well,
nah,
they were trying to
bro.
like do a remake of Blade.
Well, they
Yeah.
are doing
They are
a
doing it.
remake.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Mahershala Ali is going to be playing
Yes.
the Blade, which I support 100%.
Same.
Okay, well, man, like, I mean, I'll
It's
give
going
it
to
a
be
shot.
PG-13. It's going to be in the MCU.
That is the part that scares me.
Nope.
That, and you know, the problems with the script and the directors. Yeah.
And
But what happens when some motherfuckers got to ice skate uphill?
They can't.
Well,
They're not allowed to.
Actually, that's not true. He could still drop the line because they can get one F-bomb.
They can get one off, yeah.
Wasn't that a like ad lib from Wesley Snipes though?
I can only hope.
Yeah, I hope somebody didn't write that down in the script and it made it the whole.
Maybe David Goy was like, all right, my screenplay is complete. It's missing something at the end.
Some motherfuckers always. What's bad is like it doesn't even make sense in the moment.
Some motherfuckers always got to ice skate uphill. What the fuck?
It's one of the most iconic lines, though.
It is. It is.
but
Like I can't deny that.
You would think that he said it as in like some people always have to like overly complicate shit,
Right?
But he says it
overreach.
after, or like you put in too much effort to do this simple thing. He says this after he very unnecessarily kicked stylistically all these fucking serum contain all these syringes into this motherfucker when it only was going to take one.
So
Yes.
it is. Wait.
Yes.
Maybe it's deeper than what we're thinking.
No, it's not.
It's Blade, the motherfucker who's always trying to ice skate uphill.
Oh yeah, maybe. It's so random you have X-Files on here.
Yeah, it is. I hate you. Like, no. You spent the entire fucking movie trying to convince me this man is all about his cool points.
And he is.
But saying that line degrades that.
I better disagree.
Yeah.
How?
Because,
Better differ.
because you can't explain it.
Because
No. Explaining it the way you just explained it, saying it, that he was talking about himself, degrades all of the cool points.
No, maybe he doesn't mean it like
Yeah.
some motherfuckers. Maybe he means like, I'm that motherfucker who ice skates uphill. Click.
right. See, you see, like
No.
normal people can't. Normal people can't do it, but Blade is that motherfucker who can ice skate uphill.
Yeah.
He's not Chuck Norris. Shut the fuck up.
He is kind of vampire Chuck Norris.
I mean, he kind of is. I mean, think about it.
Just because he roundhouse kicked a little syringe into Deacon Frost's forehead does not make him Chuck Norris. I don't care.
Oh, he can't decapitate the motherfucker flying in the air and catch his sunglasses. That don't make him Chuck Norris-esque.
See, he's stretching for it though. Chuck Norris doesn't need to stretch.
Oh, Blade did that shit effortlessly.
Doesn't matter. He's still stretching for it.
Oh, you are just hating now.
I am hating because there was no need for that level of cheese.
This motherfucker can't ice skate uphill.
God damn it.
No, clearly not.
I'm not hating the movie because I still love the movie. I'm just saying it was over. And I think the reason why I'm as worked up as I am is the fact that I've heard you guys rip into movies for way less than what this movie has done.
If you can name one of those movies, we can gladly tell you why.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, give me the example.
I mean, there's a lot to choose from.
There are. And like, that's not the point though.
Okay, wait. Okay, so this thing that you just said that we do all the time, but you can't name a single example of it.
So when you go home, I expect you to go into your closet, find the closest thing you have to a pair of ice skates, then find a hill, and then maybe first go down the hill till you get your bearings right, and then work up your muscles.
In this room, I'm the only one who can fucking ice skate, so shut the fuck up.
Actually, if you find somewhere where there is some solid ice, let me know.
That's a fair point, because it's hot as fuck outside.
Yeah, it is, dog. Yeah, I mean,
Just
it is August in Georgia.
I ain't trying to go ice skating, but I might lay down on that shit and go to sleep.
You're right, though.
There are a few interesting, I guess, coincidences about this movie. So Deacon Frost is being played by Stephen Dorff. And I really like his performance in this movie. I thought it was really good.
Oh, yeah. Like, honestly, like, I even said this during the viewing. Like, the guy, like, yeah, that dude nailed it as Deacon Frost.
Yeah.
And honestly, I thought it was like a big, awesome villain that worked.
Agreed. Like, I like the fact that, like, the pure-blooded vampires didn't get along with him. And he had delusions of grandeur, which is what I really think Blade was talking about when he dropped that line, but I don't know.
I mean,
he did go through a bunch of bullshit to arrive there.
Yeah. But Stephen Dwarf would go on to co-star alongside Mahershala Ali in True Detective season 3,
which was ironic as fuck.
which is ironic as fuck because, like we mentioned earlier, Mahershala Ali is playing Blade in the upcoming movie.
I really need to watch that. Like I've heard that it's
good, man. It's
very
really
good. I just the first season of True Detective is one of the best seasons of television ever made.
Agreed.
And then the second season is like a damn near Hero season 2 level fuck up.
Damn.
It's real bad. But the first season is amazing. Have you seen the first season?
No.
You would fucking love it.
Yeah.
It is literally, it could not be any more up your alley if I gave it to you as an enema. Like it is 100% your shit. You would adore it. Like,
that's where I got the name Yellow King from.
Yeah. It's about that's what it's about. It's a bunch of about a fucking eldritch fucking whole thing. Yeah.
What the fuck?
Deep Louisiana cultist, who doing some.
All right, now you definitely have to watch this shit.
Yeah, and it's fucking Woody Harrelson and fucking Matthew McConaughey. As the lead.
And two of their best performances I've seen from either of them.
Yeah, and there's some very amazing nudity in it.
There is.
Yeah.
And then there's
yeah.
Good show.
But a great first season. But the second season I think is god awful nonsense. But it's an anthology thing, so you literally can watch the first season. The second season is not related. Like it's completely different cast and everything. So like you can watch the first season
like
as
American Horror Story.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. By the way, don't watch that fucking show because they're using they're using what's the term that they call it, scab actors or whatever. They're trying to circumvent the strikes basically.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who, American Horror Story?
Yeah, this season they are.
Wow.
Yeah, they did it to circumvent the strikes, so they went out and like got people that weren't part of the guilds and shit.
Kind of like the replacements.
So yeah, fuck them. But yeah, anyway, it's just my little bit.
You know what those guys are getting paid? It's got to be shit.
Oh yeah, probably.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Blade in this movie, we talk about how he does a lot of really over the top.
He does.
Things.
It is cool. I'm not gonna say it's not.
And I mean, in all seriousness, of course, it is super over the top and
like his random cheesy grin that he would get.
See, if they had cut the number of times he did that down by like 60%, I think it would have been appropriate. Like, I think an appropriate time would have been before like he gets his powers back at the end of the movie.
Sure,
that would have been a time to do it. Because you can tell there's a part of him that really fucking loves killing vampires.
I mean, honestly, if I became a vampire hunter, like I would be very happy.
Yeah, if you are the thing that these monsters are afraid of,
fuck yes,
you're really good at your job. Yeah, but yeah, it's interesting how he does that kind of quirky grin a few too many times.
Yeah, and like immediately it's like halted though. It's not even just the grin. Mm-hmm. It's the grin with the like that laughing meme where you're laughing and then all of a sudden you get a serious face. It's like really like
it's like they kind of had an interesting time finding the intersection between like him being stoic and serious, and then also like I guess relatable and more human. And they had a hard time kind of balancing that out. I feel like they got it by the second movie. But there's a few times in the first one where, like, I think for the most part, he has it. But, man, there's some times where, like, that, they just kind of break it a little bit. It's like in Batman Forever, there's a moment where Val Kilmer, he's leaving Meridian Chase, played by Nicole Kidman. Yeah. And he turns around, he does that fucking smile, and I hate it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's fucking horrible.
And I'm like, his I mean, especially compared to Clooney's, but like his Batman is so, I thought was really good, right. He was really dark, for that movie. And like, you don't need to do that smile. Like, I get it.
Yeah, you just ruined it though. Yeah. Like
they could have very easily had him start to walk away and then like do a pause and stop, and then like he's considering staying or telling her. Yeah. And then have him keep going. Right. And that would have been so much more effective and true to the character. Yeah. But I agree with you. Like, Kilmer's fucking Batman is underrated as fuck.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
Probably because of how cheesy that movie was. But looking at it, like, honestly, I could see Marvel making this shit way worse. Like, especially in that original script.
I want to know what that original script had in it.
I want to see it. Yeah. I want to see it. It's almost like the
like Batgirl.
No, I never wanted to see that.
Damn.
The original episode 9, the Colin Trevorrow script, which sounds fucking fantastic.
Yeah. But see, that's opposite, right? Because like the Blade script sounded terrible,
but they decided not to make it.
Yeah.
I wish studios would like leak their shit first. Like that might actually help a little bit.
I feel like some do. They say
it's
an accident.
But. Yeah.
Well, like they're doing that with Aquaman too. They do test screenings, and then the test screenings are like, "Yo, this movie is bad," and then they go do like $90 million for the reshoots or whatever. And
yeah, expensive ass mistakes to make.
It's crazy to me that like these studios, and I'm not trying to turn this into a comic news episode, but like, the Marvels was about to get shit on because. Dune 2 had like a 6-week contract with IMAX or something.
Oh, yeah.
So the Marvels wasn't going to show in IMAX anywhere.
Right.
But Dune 2 got delayed.
Yep.
So it's actually got a chance now to have a good run. But it's just crazy to me that they keep having these giant like $200 and $300 million superhero movies. It makes sense for like Avengers, but like for you to do a single superhero movie and
that costs
$200 million.
It's like that. Yeah, there's no real reason for that. You know what I mean? I think I forget what the budget was for like the movie Logan, but it was an R-rated superhero movie that, in comparison to other superhero movies that came out during this time frame, was fairly cheap in comparison.
I mean, yeah, they used $1 million, like every effect they could that was a practical. They used it. I mean, it was very simplistic. Not a whole lot of cast they had to worry about.
Yeah, no.
Like
for as far as like CG things, like I mean, Logan's claws. Mm-hmm. And they did like the CG face overlay for the body double for Hugh Jackman, for like the X-24 guy, that character. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it was just very practical. But the whole point behind that is like that was an R-rated superhero movie that didn't cost $200 million to make, and it ended up making like $700 million at the box office. When everything was said and done, so it turned a hefty profit for it being an R-rated movie. But it just goes to show that money doesn't always buy you box office success.
And see, here's my thing. I think we've talked about this on the show before. Is it goes back to the art form of filmmaking compared to the art, the money making form of filmmaking. And I mean, it's just like with video games too. Like Larian just fucking proved it. Like you put people who are passionate about a project on this project, they're going to give you everything they've got for this, and they're going to make it good.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, I hate to use this example, but it's the example. You take the Lord of the Rings trilogy, Peter Jackson, Philippa Boyens, and a couple other people that are heavily involved in that. They went to different studios and said, the license for this is a thing. Like, we can get it. We've talked to Tolkien's estate. We want to make a Lord of the Rings movie. We want to preferably do 2 movies if we can. And they shopped it around to different studios. Like, this was their passion project. Fortunately, they came across New Line and were given the go to do 3 movies instead of 2. And the rest is fucking history. Whereas with Rings of Power, fucking Jeff Bezos was like, hey, go get me some fucking Game of Thrones money. That's the exact quote. And was like, oh yeah, well, we'll just buy the fucking Lord of the Rings license. People love Lord of the Rings. And then set them off on that shit. So,
yeah. And it's so frustrating, right? It's frustrating as a consumer and as, a podcaster / critic. Because it's like, why don't you see what the obvious glaring issues are with your product? You know what I mean? Like, there's no art. There's no care.
And see, yeah, like, honestly, I don't think half the people who are in charge of a lot of these fucking filmmaking companies actually probably even like movies.
No,
Like, they're just all about making the fucking money.
And they're about logistics, right? And those
Right.
logistics are full of bullshit. You know, like the reason why we get so many bombastic third act scenarios is because they think that that's what draws people into the movies. You know,
Right.
like if we have this big CG whatever at the end, then that's really going to be the money maker. You know, whereas
Matter of fact, that is like, God forbid I find out before I go see the movie. I won't.
yeah.
I will boycott it in a fucking minute.
yeah,
Like, if I would have known Shang-Chi had a giant dragon at the end, I wouldn't have watched it.
The only reason I would have watched it is like if I knew he was going to hit that dragon with a Kamehameha at the end. That's the only thing that's.
I would just find a clip of it online.
So-
I wouldn't even give a shit about watching the whole movie.
so it's cool when Shang-Chi does it, but when Morbius does, you have a problem.
No, fuck that entire film. Like he hit a bat Kamehameha. Have you seen Morbius?
No, I don't plan to.
It's fucking garbage.
It's so bad.
I'd rather watch Howard the Duck. At least there was duck titties in that.
There were duck titties, yeah.
Morbius is like that movie with no duck titties.
You know what?
It's just bats.
Can we really not mention that in
bad
my
titties.
presence ever again?
My bad.
Yeah, I mean, you look at things like Morbius, and you know, it's really funny, like now, the contrast. Sony can't wait to stamp a fucking giant red Marvel logo on anything they come out
They
with.
love it.
You know,
Yeah.
but like when like Spider-Man 1 and 2 and shit was coming out, they, you know, it was like this movie. You just kind of tuck it into the credits.
Yeah. Yeah, by the way, this is based off a Marvel character, and then they kept it moving.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah. But, you know, do you guys think that there's a possibility, like, if the Mahershala Ali Blade movie had come out when it was supposed to, which at this point was like last year,
Yeah.
do you think there's a possibility that Marvel and Sony work out a deal where Morbius gets...
Blade versus Morbius.
yeah, or something of the like.
I mean,
Yes.
I would be down for that. But I really think it should be like the last Blade movie. Like they do if they do like a Blade trilogy, that should be the last
Yeah.
one. You know, I don't want another Morbius movie. Please, God, no.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, not to veer too far off topic here, but man, like when it comes to Sony superhero movies, if it doesn't have Spider-Verse in the name, I don't want to see it. Just because we've gotten Morbius, which was, yeah, it was bad. It was really fucking bad. I am not a fan of the Venom movies.
I barely I only like the first one because of my son.
Yeah.
Like, cause we watched it together. But that's about it.
Yeah. And Kraven the Hunter looks like satire.
Yeah. Yeah. I bet you though that it's not going to be clever.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
If they actually did make a Kraven the Hunter satirical movie, it would be the most like niche thing ever. But
Right.
I think it'd be amazing. But like 99% of audiences would be like, "What the fuck is this?"
Right. Yeah, so in case you haven't heard, like with the Kraven the Hunter movie, they at the time their actual idea was to have him be a animal rights activist.
Okay.
They should have him hunt the characters from The Lion King.
And I'm like, but he hunts. That's his whole thing. He goes after big, dangerous trophy animals with his bare hands. He loves the challenge of fighting. He wears a fucking lion's mane around his neck, for fuck's sake. Like how did they come up with this? But yeah, it's
The trailer almost put me to sleep.
and
I was like, no.
it looks about as generic as it can be.
Yeah, like as Blue Beetle.
Yeah,
Matter of fact,
Was
the
it really that bad?
Blue Beetle.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was as bad as Caleb thought it was. It was just all familiar territory.
they use CG for everything.
I mean, he's a beetle. You can't
Bro,
make that
a little
practical.
piece of carpet catching on fire, the fire is CG. Like, I mean, they literally didn't have a single practical effect in the movie other than there's some scenes where he does actually have on a suit that's, like, just enhanced by CG. But it's basically like, within the first 5 minutes of that movie, you can tell me everything that's going to fucking happen and be correct. It's got every superhero movie trope since this movie in it.
Damn.
Yeah, I think had the movie came out 10, 12 years earlier, it's a much better received movie, but it's just too late, too little, too late. It's the biggest problem for me. Yeah. So back to this Blade movie here. We're gonna stick with it one of these days.
Maybe.
Yeah, possibly. Steve Norrington, who I said was the director, he also made another superhero movie. Do you guys know what that was?
No.
I gave you a hint. It also came out 20 years ago, and I need to review it as well.
So you haven't reviewed it yet, and
No.
It came out 20 years ago.
Yep.
Was he the director of one of the Fantastic Four movies?
No.
Okay. Worse than that?
Yeah. Well, to me, yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's juicy.
Yeah, my brain is like not. What? What is it?
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Oh God, yeah. So here's the thing, man. That shit is so far from what it is. My brain doesn't even recognize it as being an adaptation of the source material.
Right.
My brain is just like, they just thought that sounded cool, and they called the movie that, not even knowing there was a graphic novel.
So, I'm sure I'm probably gonna hate myself for saying this. I liked that movie.
Or then you can help me review it, Oz. You can rewatch it.
Yeah, that sounds like a volunteer.
Okay, I mean, yeah, I'm down. But I remember liking that movie. It was very interesting. But like, what makes it so bad?
Okay, so we'll start here.
Well, all right. Well,
It's what I said.
Yeah. The Cliff Note version, right? So, Alan Moore, the man who wrote the book,
Sure.
The Extraordinary Gentleman, this was the movie that made him walk away from Hollywood. Like, he didn't want his name on anything that was adapted after that movie. It is such a faithless cash grab adaptation. It's just generic action movie with some of the characters that he used. And it's to the point where it's hilarious, because if you go look at like the Wikipedia or the IMDb for League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, it'll say directed by Steve Norrington, story by Alan Moore. He had nothing to do with the story on that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad, but yeah, it's just adaptation in name only.
Damn.
Nothing in common with the graphic novel.
It'd be like if they released the the first Expendables movie and called it The Watchmen.
Yeah,
Like, what?
right.
Damn. Okay. I mean, like, and again, I didn't know it was a comic until like way later. So
Neither did they. Apparently. Like,
Damn
yeah,
it.
it's just, it's so far off from what it is. I mean, it just, to me, it doesn't even seem that bad to me, because I remember watching the movie and just thinking it was decent. Isn't Sean Connery in that shit?
yeah.
Yeah, that's probably why I watched it, because I like him. And then next thing I know, I find out that there's an adaptation of it, and then I'm like, no, there's not.
Like, how was this a book?
Yeah.
Fucking Tom Sawyer, or Sawyer as he's called. Yeah, they just fucking made that guy up and threw him in the movie. Yeah. Anywho, that movie is hot booty water.
Hot booty water.
But maybe upon another viewing, I will like it more.
You know what? I'll be on that one.
Okay.
I'll be on it. Honestly, I would like to read it too.
It's a really good read. Really good read. It's much darker than the.
I mean, good.
Yeah. Not borderline. It does pretty much start off with a fucking rape.
Yeah, Alan Moore doesn't really do not dark.
Right.
Damn. Okay. Well,
Invisible Man,
Yeah.
He goes into a nunnery, and there's this nun who is like levitating in the air. The other nuns think she's having convulsions. They think it's like a possession. And meanwhile, it's just the Invisible Man going to fucking work. Like,
Damn.
yeah.
All right. Anyway, Blade, right?
Yeah.
Like,
You know what movie there's no rapes in? Blade.
yeah.
God.
Although there is a lot of suggestion.
There is a lot of suggestion, a lot of vampiric suggestion in this movie. Yeah. So what you guys think of we talked a little bit about the action already, but what you guys think about the action in this movie?
I mean, honestly, for the time, like now, obviously, a lot of it doesn't hold up and it's fucking cheesy. But at the time, man, like Blade was a BA badass.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, like, and don't get it twisted. Like, yes, I have my issues with the cheese, but 10-year-old me thought that was cool as shit. I love the Power Rangers, so like this was,
Yeah, I think for me, a lot of it works really well, and the reason why the editing isn't worse is because Wesley does most of his own stunts.
Yeah, because honestly, Wesley Snipes, kicked ass.
Yeah.
Like the dude knows
martial arts.
Yeah.
And so in that regard, they're able to get kind of the Spawn treatment where they didn't have to do unnecessary. Well, Spawn didn't have to anyway because of the suit.
Yeah.
Even if it was a stunt man, you wouldn't know.
Right.
But with Blade, it's a little bit harder to hide that. And so they're able to get a lot of really cool still shots because it was Wesley beating up those stuntmen.
Yeah.
I thought that the action for the most part was cool too. And does it, hold up today? Like you can't put it next to fucking John Wick and expect it to be, on par. But especially for its time, man, it was really, really cool, really fun action. I also was not mad at the plot here in this movie. I get that it's been done to death by now, but it makes sense, which that's where we're at right now in Hollywood. Does it make sense?
It's a typical bad guy trope, though. I mean, like that's all it is. Like, bad guy finds an ancient prophecy of summoning a greater power.
Yep.
Sacrifices a few people to do it. Needs the main character to fulfill this thing. Done.
Yep.
Yeah, vampire democracy is weird because, like, apparently you can defang and burn to death the existing leader, and then you just de facto become the new leader.
I've watched and read too many things with different types of vampire lore that's why I was so pissed at the ancient pureblood vampire. I'm like, bitch.
Because the purebloods didn't really do anything.
No, they were just stuffy bitches in suits.
Yeah.
And then, Deacon Frost had every right to, in my brain, if you're going to act that way, I'm going to rip your fangs out and burn you alive. I don't care.
It would have worked better, I think, had Deacon challenged the pureblood to a fight and bested him and then dragged him out into the sun.
Because that would have even cemented him even more as a badass villain.
Yeah.
No, I definitely agree with you.
Yeah, they could have done without the sunscreen angle and all that shit. That was weird. Because it's like, well, that doesn't protect his eyes, but whatever. That whole thing was weird, and there's probably a better way they could do that. But yeah, I mean, overall though, the plot makes sense in this movie, and God, I mean, how many we reviewed this year where we can't even say that?
Right.
This shit just don't make sense.
Where it's 2 hours of us sitting here trying to make some kind of fucking sense of it.
Right. Yeah, it's like, I don't know, man. Too many movies have the big action scene at the end mapped out, and they're just trying to figure out how to get there. That's what it seems like.
See, and this is what I use as a dungeon master. If I'm going to build up to a big fight, I'm going to build it up. I'm not even I'll come up with an idea of this could be a cool fight, but I'm not going to be steering you to that. I'm going to let you guys build up to where you need to build up. Right. So when you do fight this thing, you're going to fucking you're going to have your moment to shine.
Yeah.
If you don't give that to the viewers in your movies, how is that what payoff are you going to get?
It's true. And I agree with you on that. Because at the end of the day, the more it makes sense, the more connection the audience will be able to have with it, And for example, that's one reason why I always give so many props to the Batman and Bane fight in The Dark Knight Rises. That first fight scene is tremendous just because of the story implications. They don't do anything from a technical standpoint that you could technically say is phenomenal, but it's the story beats that make that fight scene so great. I just feel like a lot of that is also missing in today's Hollywood. But, what you guys think of some of the other cast members here? Again, we got a small main cast of characters here. Like you can say, we really have Stephen Dorff as Deacon Frost. We have his underling Quinn. Obviously, we have Karen Jensen. We have Abraham Whistler and Blade. Like those are really the main.
I do feel like, and this was a typical '90s thing. They gave us with Karen. They gave us typical damsel in distress that offered one thing.
Right. They at least made her smart.
They did make her smart. They did make her smart.
And,
I mean, it's like
more than most heroines got in those days.
Yeah. They're like, it's hard for me to say that she's just a damsel in distress when I see her shotgunning people by the end of the movie. And also, what is a normal person to do against vampires?
I mean, Whistler did it.
Yeah, he's a fucking vampire hunter. What is a normal person to do against
He
vampires?
was a normal person. He became a vampire
Right, but
hunter.
he has training.
Yeah. Like 30 years or so of training, so I don't expect her to be Whistler. I mean,
I agree.
I do wish they had, I don't know, come up with something more creative for her to do, but I mean, I guess she served her purpose where like she comes up with like some kind of synthesized cure that helps Blade and herself, and I guess also Whistler by the second movie.
And explodey serum.
And explodey serum.
She seemed to help Pearl out a good bit. the really gross fat vampire.
Yeah.
I don't know how you forgot about that scene.
Yeah, I forgot all about that.
Yeah, I did too. I was like, oh shit, I forgot about this.
That shit was gross, bro. That's the only scene that I 100% remembered. That and some motherfuckers always when I was scared of him.
Yeah. Other than that, guys, like what are some of you guys' takeaways from this movie before we kind of move on to talk about Blade in the future?
I mean, my big things are like this movie is still a fun movie to watch. Like if it comes on, like if I actually see it in Netflix or on any streaming service, I'll watch it. Yeah, like I might even go watch the second one just to brush up, just because I haven't watched it in a while.
And stop there.
Yeah, the second one's the best one to me. I really like the second one.
But and again, it's super fucking cheesy, and I will definitely be I definitely enjoyed my nostalgia, except for the fact that you ruined that by making me such a critic now. Thank you.
You're welcome. I feel like you're being facetious though.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Obviously, anything from the early CG era, right? Like visually, Phantom Menace looks worse than any of the Star Wars films. Why? Because 1999 CG was awful.
Yeah.
We didn't have the processing power to do it.
Did we think it was awful in the 90s?
Back in the day, no. I remember thinking that, Phantom Menace looked awesome, and then I found out later that was wrong.
Yeah, I don't recall at the time thinking about Phantom Menace or Blade, really, because, at the time, for us, it was oh, wow, we didn't care that it was CG.
Yeah.
Your brain knew, but you were like, wow, it looks awesome, because if you look at, what we had in 1998, I mean, we had Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
And that was a fucking little blocky guy running around on top of a still JPEG.
With horseshoe hands.
Yeah.
Horseshoe hands, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, I mean, by comparison, it was that this was the best thing that we had seen. I mean, obviously, there's some, Scorpion King was the first time that I was like, wow, man, that CG's really shitty.
Yeah.
Honestly, I always questioned why they did it.
I don't know.
I mean, I draw the line there at Lord of the Rings. I mean, when Fellowship came out, that movie looked amazing, but there's almost no CG in that film. And it was like the modern era, digital filmmaking, but with a lot of practical effects.
I remember having taking art in high school, and our art teacher in Thompson, she would that would be one of our rewards at the end of the week was she would put on the how they did it for Lord of the Rings because of how artistic it is. It's so many practical effects. You've got the stage makeup and the prosthetic making and the set design. It's fucking phenomenal. And like you said, we didn't have practical effects is what we grew up on, and then now in 1999, we've got CG.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks so real. No, it doesn't.
Well, and now we have there's
Complete
like
facial reconstruction in CG.
Yeah, but I mean the thing about it now though is it's like CG itself. A lot of Hollywood looks at CG as a tool, but CG is also an art.
Yeah.
And like you can't just be like, oh well, we'll CG that in. Okay, well this effect, all right, we'll CG that. You just can't, right? Like it is an art form to be able to use CGI effectively.
Right.
Whereas you can tell when it's just used as an excuse, right? Mm-hmm. Like you look at the times in like the Dark Knight trilogy where CGI is used, like
Very
the
minimal.
fucking nuclear explosion in Rises.
Yeah.
Or there's a couple times with the Bat Pod that it's because it's got to be because there's no other way to feasibly do it.
Yeah.
And then in Oppenheimer they really set off a bomb, but
Did they really?
Yeah, they did.
yeah.
It wasn't a nuke.
But yeah,
There's not a single shot in that movie that's all CGI. Like there's
I do miss the days of like practical explosions in movies because you can obviously tell.
Oh yeah.
there were some movies with shitty practical explosions too, like Batman Forever, for example.
What happened in Forever that exploded?
Because like in like when the Riddler goes through the Batcave and
Oh yeah, yeah.
with the little
It was a little AEW ish.
yeah.
Don't you mean Wrestling Society X? You guys remember that shit?
Wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. I mean, but then you have movies like we talked about Blue Beetle, where it's just like you could tell they were just like, "Fuck it, we'll CG it in later."
We might as well make this an animated movie. Like,
Right.
Yeah. There's just always going to be that era at the beginning of CG where it's just bad. And I don't think in 20 years like today, I don't think in 2039 that we're going to be like, man, look at Infinity War's shitty CG.
Yeah, no.
It's probably not going to happen that way.
Yeah. I mean, shit, like you said, we're 20 years removed from Lord of the Rings, and like the even though there's not a ton of CG in that, I don't look at the CG in it and be like, man, that's terrible. Well, that
right.
still holds up.
I definitely agree with you.
There's a few scenes on
The Hobbit.
no, we're going to talk about that.
Don't.
There's a few scenes on the Blu-rays for Lord of the Rings where it's questionable, where you're kind of like, okay, that's a little blocky. But when they did the 4K Blu-rays for Lord of the Rings, they actually re-rendered all the CG.
Huh.
Yeah, because they give a shit.
Yeah.
And literally, there's not that many effects in the movie anyway, so they went back and re-rendered all of them. And so they're crisp again. But yeah, fuck The Hobbit. Like, Jesus Christ.
So this Mahershala Ali Blade movie, where we're at right now, we really don't even know.
We know nothing.
Yeah, we know nothing at this point.
We are Jon Snow.
Yeah. Speaking of Jon Snow, that's the last time that we heard anything from Blade at the end of Eternals.
The worst cameo ever.
The worst cameo ever. Oz, I don't know if you've seen Eternals. I hope not.
I have, but I don't remember it.
I don't. Yeah.
Well,
makes sense.
the after credit scene is like he's pulling out the sword or whatever.
Yep. Dane Whitman, the Black Knight.
Yeah,
Yes,
and then you hear like such and such, Mr. Whitman, and like it's supposed to be a Blade tease, but like the voice isn't like none of us knew. Like we had to go home and Google what it was supposed to be. So if we had to fucking do that, I can guarantee you the date night crowd left confused as fuck.
Yeah. And that was supposed to be our Blade cameo.
Yeah, he's not actually on
man.
screen. It's,
Yeah.
it's Mahershala Ali's voice.
Damn.
Yeah. And that's the closest we've gotten to, Blade live action again. So obviously there's a few things that I think that they should do for this Blade movie. One of them is make it rated R.
Right, which they're not going to do.
Like, so here's my thing. Like, you cannot make a decent vampire movie and make it. You have to make it R. You have to.
You really do.
Yeah.
And they're going to make Deadpool 3 R, so I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't understand the hesitancy either. Yeah, so I don't get it. But yeah, I mean, so make it rated R. And I mean, for fuck's sake, like interject fun action in it. I just keep.
Go ahead.
You got something in your mind there?
I do.
Yeah.
Don't make the action cheesy. For God's sakes, don't. Like, it works for the 90s. It does not work now.
They need to get the choreography team from the fucking Daredevil Netflix series.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And then, like, get another really strong villain. Someone who makes sense. I'm not saying you have to start with Dracula. The one thing that Blade Trinity did that was worth it, damn, was at least they ended with the biggest of big bad for vampires.
Right.
Unfortunately, it didn't work, but
So they make a John Wick 5, and at the end, he gets bitten by a vampire. And then Vampire John Wick is the villain in the Blade movie.
Well, who's gonna stop him?
Blade.
I don't even think Mr. Cool Points Wesley Snipes could be that bad guy. Sorry.
That's tough.
It would be hilarious if they got Wesley Snipes to play the villain.
Oh, that would actually be dope.
That would be amazing.
They got to get him to cameo in some capacity. I mean,
somewhat.
Well, I mean, as much as I would like I hear we even talked about this before. Is like by the third movie, Wesley Snipes was insufferable to work with. So who's to say he's not going to be now?
I think he's had time to cool down since then.
Yeah, he was in prison for quite some time.
That's fair. I mean, I don't know if that cools you down, but
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've seen him in a few movies since then, and he definitely doesn't seem to be. I don't know. I haven't worked with the man.
That's fair.
But, a Wesley cameo would be a shit ton of fun.
Yeah, it would. It really would.
I mean,
they should have him drop the line. They should have him.
Oh, that would be fucking great.
That should be the one F-bomb they do in the movie.
Oh,
Some
shit.
motherfuckers always trying to ice
Yes. I suppose they're trying to keep it PG-13 because they maybe want to use him for other movies, team ups or whatnot.
Yeah, they can't have him just pop up in Secret Wars and be like, "What are you motherfuckers doing out here?"
And then Deadpool would be, "Hey, that's my fucking line."
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I have a lot of fear for this movie, this upcoming Blade movie.
Honestly, I've had so much fear for everything that's come out of Marvel Studios, and I was so happy that Guardians 3 defied that, but that has been the only saving grace for me lately.
Well, next year on paper should be much better.
Should be.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it will be.
It doesn't mean it will be, but on paper, Marvel should have a great 2024.
I liked Shang-Chi. I didn't think it was amazing.
I liked it too.
I liked it up until the end, yeah.
That third act was a lot to take in.
Yeah. However, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that the Marvels has a chance to not be awful. I don't think it will be great, but it has a chance to not be awful.
I think it's got a chance to be mediocre.
It's going to be better than Captain Marvel.
Oh, well, I mean, if that's the bar. But especially based off that, that quote,
comment.
Yeah, that comment you said.
I was actually kind of hyped for it until that quote, and then I was like, oh, because the director came out and was like, yeah, well, there might be superhero fatigue, but see, our movie is kind of like silly and zany. And so I'm like, that's what the fucking fatigue is from. There's not superhero fatigue. It doesn't fucking exist. There is shitty movie fatigue. And that, like, the silly, zany shit is what we're all tired of. If you don't take the shit seriously, then I can't take it seriously.
When Caleb sent me that, I had to ask him if that was a joke because I literally thought that the person was pretending that they weren't self-aware.
Right.
Imagine my surprise when he told me it was in fact not a joke.
No, they 100% meant that shit.
Yeah.
That hurts my heart.
Well, yeah, and it's gonna hurt their pockets, So, we'll see what comes of that. But I think we're about ready to wrap here, guys. Blade 1, I mean, even watching it again after all these years later, I still had a lot of enjoyment from it. And it's hard for me to separate like the enjoyment I have for this because for us millennials, this is a nostalgia movie.
It is.
You know? And it's easy to recognize it and see like some of the flaws in it. Some of the editing is definitely questionable.
Whoa.
Oh yeah.
Well, this wasn't a digital film, so you got to think.
Oh, yeah.
They actually this was
film.
this was filmed on physical fucking film. The cutting room literally was a motherfucker with a fucking like cutting up strips of film.
Yeah, which had to be a nightmare to do.
I mean, at least it wasn't 11 miles long.
That's true. It wasn't Oppenheimer.
The Oppenheimer film reel.
Yeah. I think that like some of the action today is a little hokey, is a little Mortal Kombat-ish / Power Ranger-esque.
They literally did the
spin kick.
The spin kick missing.
Yep.
At least twice.
And we directly commented on that in the Mortal Kombat review.
Yep.
Because it's ridiculous and doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't.
Or when you get hit by anything, you take a flip bump.
Oh yeah.
That's also a Power Rangers trope that was in this movie a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. It happens a lot. But you know what? All of those things aside, though, there's still a really solid, really fun movie here. Yeah. And it was good to go back down memory lane and watch a movie that doesn't suck.
You know, I have a lot of regrets about this review, man, because we did not give a spoiler warning.
Shut up.
God damn. Well, you guys have anything else about Blade before we wrap up?
Blade.
I will say that this was a fun watch. I would love to do the second one. I kind of want to watch it now anyway.
Right?
But if we reviewed the second one, that would imply that we have to do the trilogy, and I don't know if I can do that to myself.
I feel like at this point, I've made you watch worse stuff.
I don't know, man. I am very much... so there's a couple things in Blade 3 that are very awful to me, and one of them is the whole movie. And then
the other is... Jessica Biel's arms.
Jessica Biel's arms are super gross to me.
I love her arms, and I love her in that.
Her arms are so gross to me for whatever reason.
Yeah,
they're not like Megan Fox's
thumbs.
Here, you're wrong, but because Megan Fox's thumbs are disgusting.
She has toe thumbs, but
they are so gross.
You can overlook that.
They are Yoda on Dagobah gross.
God damn.
Have you seen her thumbs? They're horrible.
Yes, I've seen her thumbs.
Okay. All right. Just making sure.
Oh, shit.
Damn.
Do you have anything else about Blade?
Not really. Most of it's just I can't believe you gave me shit for being overly critical of this movie.
Most of it was joking in nature.
I know. But I still enjoy this movie. Just like I would, honestly, I'd probably just enjoy every movie that we watch from my childhood because that's, me.
Yeah. Yeah, we still have to do Street Fighter at some point, and Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles. There's a whole long laundry list.
Dead or Alive. I actually like that movie.
You said Dead or Alive?
Yeah, the one that's got Kevin Nash in it.
You like that one?
Yeah, I like that movie.
Yeah, I actually didn't hate that either.
Okay. Yeah, so...
It could have been for the same reason that some episodes of Game of Thrones were better than others.
So you know what I think why the cheese bothered me so much in this movie?
Why is that?
It's because this movie was not meant to be cheesy. It was a fucking goth horror vampire movie.
The cheese on it only comes with age. If you teleport back to 1998, the cheese isn't nearly as strong in this movie.
That's very true.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Well, that's gonna be it for Blade. Again, a movie from the late 90s. For the homies out there who are our age, I know that you guys probably have taken a trip down memory lane with us and got to relive some of the moments of this movie. And for those of you who are younger, I hesitantly tell you to go check this movie out. I know that you guys don't like anything that's before the year 2013 or whatever. But I think that you guys can also see why this movie is still heralded as being, one of the movies that really helped jumpstart the superhero craze. And so there is a fun movie to be had there. But I think that's going to be all for this one. We'll see you guys again soon. But I think the next time I talk to you guys, I'll be talking to you about the new happenings in the world of superheroes and comic books. But I'll also be talking to you about Dragon Con.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. We shall.
Yes, we shall. But that will be all for now. So until next time, my name is Superhero Homie Q.
I am superhero homie Oz.
And I'm superhero homie Caleb.